Hello everyone, welcome to Lot Tree Family History Pages. Today, for something different, we are going to look at one of my other passions, photography. In this video, we will be looking at 8 types of 19th century photographs and the differences between them. Daguerreotype. Louis-Jacques Mondin Daguerre created daguerreotypes. It is said that this was the first form of practical photography. The photos are not flexible and quite heavy. They are detailed and they have a mirror-like surface and are very fragile and will appear either positive or negative depending on the angle at which they are viewed. They are made with a metal plate, making them very vulnerable. You will see most of these in special housings like a folding case. Height of popularity, 1839 to 1860. Salt prints, Talbot's process. In 1841, William Henry Fox Talbot patented the process of salt printing. This was the first photographic process to use sodium chloride to make photos more light sensitive. Salt printing was also the first process to utilize both a negative and a positive, allowing photographers to create larger quantities of prints. This phototype can encounter serious fading problems. So if you find a very faded old photo coupled with a smooth yet dull surface with a lack of fine detail and a silver image inside actual fibres of the photos, support paper, you could have a salt print. Height of popularity, 1839 to 1860. Albion prints. In 1850, Louis Desiré Blanchard Everard improved upon the salt prints by introducing Albion paper. Photographers would coat a thin sheet of paper with egg white, which would hold light-sensitive silver salt on the surface of the paper, preventing image fading. Once it was dry, Albion prints were used just like salted paper prints, and the image would form by the darkening properties of the sun on the chemicals. Most of the surviving photographs from the 19th century are on Albion paper. Salted paper prints are comprised of a single layer of paper support that contains the image particles. Albion prints have 2 layers. Albion, egg white, was applied to the paper support. A binding layer was also created. Albion prints, also called Albion silver prints, take on a rich purple-brown hue. When you examine these photos, look for paper fibres throughout the Albion overlay. Usually you will see fine lateral cracking across the glossy photo surface. Height of popularity, 1855 to 1890. Cartes de visite, or CDVs. Albion prints were often mounted on cardboard. Carte de visite, in English, it means visit card. Introduced in the 1850s in Paris, France by André Desiré, CDVs were very popular until the turn of the 20th century. You can distinguish a CDV from other card mounts mostly by the size, 3.5 by 2 inches, or slightly less at times, pasted on a standard sized cardboard mount about 4 by 2.5 inches. This size remained unchanged throughout the card's history. The thickness of the cardboard mount can indicate a rough date. Generally, the thinner the mount, the earlier the photograph. The shape of the cardboard mount can help with dating the photo. Earlier ones produced in the 1860s usually have square corners. In the 1870s, mounts have rounded corners. Look for the photographer's imprint and the type of image itself. Most CDVs are portraits. This would help you determine the correct date within just a few years of the photograph's origin. Height of popularity, 1860 to 1890. Ambrotypes. In 1854, the Ambrotype became a popular photographic print method. It used the wet plate collodion process to create a positive photograph on glass. Each photo was unique and could not be duplicated, much like a Polaroid camera. Look for dark purple, blue or red glass support. These photos may also be found on a mount with a case, just like daguerreotypes. You can easily distinguish a daguerreotype from an ambrotype, since ambrotypes always appear positive when viewing from an angle. The process was typically used for portrait photography, although ambrotypes of other subjects were also produced. Height of popularity, 1854 to mid-1860s. Tintypes. Tintypes were introduced in 1856. The tintype, also known as a melanotype or a ferrotype, was produced on a plate of thin metal. Also, just like the ambrotype, the daguerreotype, the method didn't use negatives and was directly exposed in the camera. The image is usually a mirror image reversed left to right from reality. Sometimes the camera was fitted with a mirror on the right angle prism so that the results would be right reading. Some small tintypes were also placed in cardboard mounts, much like the CDV. Look for a thin metallic plate holding the positive image to distinguish a tintype from an ambrotype. Also try to look for mount plates that are brown or red. The most common size to look for is 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Height of popularity, 1856 to 1900. Cabinet cards. Introduced in 1863 by Windsor and Bridge in London. The cabinet card is a photographic print mounted on cardstock. The cabinet card got its name for its suitability for displaying in parlours, especially in cabinets, and was popular for family portraits. The cabinet card, like the CDV, was an Albion coated card-mounted photograph that was quite popular in the 1890s. Look for card-mounted photos that are 4.25 by 6.5 inches. Most are portraits and don't include the name of the subject. An extensive logo can typically be found on the back of the card. Height of popularity, 1870 to 1890s. Hyalotypes, invented in the 1850s by brothers William and Frederick Langenheim. Hyalotypes were used in magic lanterns, where their positive images on glass plates were projected onto the screens. It was the first time photographic image could be projected. They were widely popular until modern slides come along in the 1950s. The most common size of a hyalotype is 192mm by 83mm. They were also produced in black and white, yet some could be hand tinted. Height of popularity, 1875 to 1950s. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, press the like button. Also, you can hit the subscribe button, and to get notifications, hit the bell. Thanks.